Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Today we shall discuss on the topic regulative principles of freedom. We are living in the age when everybody is talking about freedom. Children want freedom from the parents. And boys and girls want to freely mix with each other. People want to do freely everything. Just eat, drink and be merry. Don't put any restriction. People don't like the word don't. Don't do this or don't do that. They don't like teachers to tell them. They don't like parents to tell them. They don't like anybody to tell them, don't do this. Don't put any restriction. Jo acha lagta hai, karo. That's all. Whatever feels good, you do it. And what is the result of such a so-called freedom? This freedom is like the freedom of a street dog. If you see a street dog, he has no master. He thinks, I am free now. I can roam around anywhere I want. But oftentimes he is thrown stones by some people. He hurts his leg. When he gets wounded, there is nobody to heal the wound. Sometimes the municipality van comes and picks him up and takes the dog to be killed. Whereas a dog who is kept under the custody and safety of a master, he is always very peaceful. Because the dog is eating costly biscuits which master gives. The master bathes him very nicely. Sometimes you see such a dog, traveling in a very costly car, peeping from the window. He is carried by the master in a very nice car. So, the street dog is called Anath. And the master's dog is called Sanath. He has a master. Similarly, in our life also, we all need a master. But who can be the master? Because everybody in this world seems to be cheating us. We don't want to be cheated by anybody. So we want a good master. Who is that master? Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. It is said Lord Krishna is the Jagat Guru for the whole universe. And all other gurus should represent the message given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Because Lord Krishna wanted this message to go down the line to every one of us. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Ragadvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran atmavasyair videyatma prasadamadi gacchati. My dear Arjuna, Raga, Dvesha, Vimuktaistu. There are many attachments we have in this world for wrong things. For example, we have attachment to sleeping till 8 o'clock. Give up that attachment, Krishna is telling. Vimuktaistu. We have attachment to being lazy. We have attachment to being irresponsible. We have attachment to do what the mind dictates us to do. And then he's saying, Raga Dvesha means we have aversion for the right things. Somebody tells you, read Bhagavad Gita, come to the classes, chant Hare Krishna, live a pure life. Oh, mind says, no. Get up early in the morning. No. Thandi bajta, so jao. So in this way we can see, for the right things, mind has aversion. For the wrong things, mind has attachment. Krishna says, give it up. Give up attachment to wrong things and aversion for the right things, he says. And then he says, if you do so, prasadam adhigacchati. You will get prasadam. Not only the prasadam that you eat, this is mercy of the Lord. You will get, he says. And then if I get the mercy of Krishna, what will happen to me? Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna cheta shohiyashu buddhi paryavatishthate. He is telling, if you get my mercy, you will become prasanna chetas. You will become cheerful and happy in life. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanihi. All your dukkha will go away. And happiness will come. If you do what I am telling you. Like that Krishna is telling. Nasti buddhari yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayatas shanti rashantasya kutaha sukham. He is telling Arjuna, all your senses require engagement. But have positive spiritual engagements. And don't allow the mind and senses to flow in the wrong direction, Maya's direction, he's telling. And by doing this, you will get prasad, and all your dukkha will be gone, and you will be engaged in Krishna consciousness, you will be happy. So, which means we have to follow the regulative principles in our life, which will lead us to freedom eventually. Just like, for example, you work hard 4 years of BTech, and then at the end result is you get a certificate, which will fetch you a job, you will get very good salary, your future is very bright. But this 4 years you have to complete some 50 papers or so. Is it not true? It may be painful, but no pains, no gains. You have to do your duty. Then the end result is very wonderful. Is it not true? Even in material life also, if you are not willing to take responsibility and some pains, some difficulties, you don't get ahead in life. Is it not true? In the same manner, Krishna is teaching us these regulative principles of freedom. Like we know, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, like smoking, drinking and all that, and no illicit sex, which means no sex before marriage or no sex outside marriage. Sex is allowed only within marriage. So these 4 principles are given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Dyutampanam striyasuna yatra adharmas chaturveda. These are all pillars of 4 pillars of religion. Dyutam panam striyasuna. Dyuta krida means gambling. Panam means intoxication. Striya is illicit sex. Suna is killing animals. One should avoid these things. And if we do these things, then we are following the regulative principles. And that will lead us to happiness, freedom, he is saying. So, some of you may be eating meat, some of you might have been smoking, some of you might have had, free friendship with, loosely with girls and everything. So, one has to restrain oneself from allowing the mind and senses to flow in these directions. One has to withdraw the mind and senses. It may be a little difficult in the beginning, but it is not impossible. If you are eating meat every day, eat once a week. If you are eating every week, eat once a month. If you are eating once a month, eat only once in a semester. If you are eating once in a semester, why don't you make it once a year? If you are doing once a year, then forget it. In this way, you can give it up gradually. And what is this restraint like? Like in a gas cylinder, you have a regulator. Without regulator, there will be an explosion of gas cylinder, which will cause a huge damage. Is it not true? So, one needs a regulator. That's why similarly we are also saying, regulate your freedom. Like we are not telling you, don't eat. Close your mouth for your whole lifetime, you fast and die. We are not saying, don't eat meat, but eat Mahaprasad. Very nice. We are not saying, don't drink liquor, that's all. No. Don't drink liquor, drink milk. And that is offered to Krishna. Is it not? So there is a substitute for all the bad things. We are not saying, forget about woman, don't marry. No. Marry a woman, accept her as your wife, and consider all other women to be your mother. That is the standard. You see? So in this way, we are giving a higher principle and asking you to give up the lower principles. That's why Krishna is telling regulative principles of freedom. So like we regulate a gas cylinder. And you can see, anywhere you regulate, it is good. Like we send a kite up in the sky. You are having a spool in the hand where you keep the control. If you don't keep the control and leave the kite, it will just get stuck in some tree or somewhere. Is it not true? Some restraint is required. Even the singers, they stop eating ice cream because they want to keep their voice nicely. Is it not true? So everybody accepts some restraint. Like Muhammad Ali, he was a boxer, powerful boxer of his times. And he used to completely avoid sex life for 6 months before he goes for boxing in order to gather enough strength. So he was restraining himself. So everybody in this world, they restrain themselves for some material goals in life. Similarly, for attaining both material and spiritual goals, Krishna is giving us this regulative principles of freedom. Why are they called as regulative principles of freedom? Because eventually you will get freedom. You will become happy. In America, in Stanford University, they conducted a test for some children. So they called all the children in different rooms. they kept one cake in front of them and told them. The teacher told, either you take one cake now, or I will go to 5 classrooms to different divisions of your class, and I'll give all the cakes to children and come back. Then if you want, then I'll give you 2 cakes. So you have a choice now, either one cake now or 2 cakes after half an hour. Which one you want? So most of the children said, one cake is enough, madam, I want to immediately eat. So they were given one cake, and those children, they finished off because they were restless. They want to enjoy immediately. And the other children who said, no ma'am, we are ready to wait 30 minutes. So they waited. And then the teacher gave them 1 cake and then went around all the classes. And after half an hour, she came and saw the 1 cake was still there in place. They had not eaten. So she gave the second cake also to them. So they got 2 cakes, those children. And Stanford University continued the research on the same children. After they went to teenage, they found that those children who could not control their senses and wanted 1 cake immediately to eat, they became restless in their teenage, and they were becoming criminals. They were uncontrolled in their senses and behavior due to anger and lust and greed. But those children who could restrain their senses and say, we can wait for 30 minutes, those who got 2 cakes, those children became very noble in character. They could achieve great heights in their success because of their ability to restrain. So they had the willpower to restrain. So they could go to great heights. They observed it. In this way, even the material institutions are researching on the benefits of self-restraint. If you learn to lead a very simple life, you will always be grateful. But if a boy led a very lavish life in childhood, then the more he grows up, the more he will want to increase his luxuries and comforts, and he has to work more harder to earn too much. Because there is no end to sense gratification. In this way, if one follows these 4 regulative principles and then you chant Hare Krishna, then your progress in Krishna consciousness will be very swift. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.